Federal District Court Judge Amir Ali in Washington today telling the Trump administration, you shut down foreign aid funds. And it appears at first glance that you were not legally allowed to do that. I ordered you to immediately restart those funds, and you have not done so. You now have until tomorrow to do it. And if you can't do it, or you have some excuse that makes you think you still ought not do it, I want the relevant officials in my courtroom and under oath telling me why they are not doing it. The motion to enforce is granted. Get those funds out the door by midnight tomorrow night. This nonsense is over. Just a humiliation for the Trump administration in court today. Not only not doing what they are legally required to do, but unable to even spit out a complete sentence justifying why they're not complying with the court's order. Just a legal disaster and a humiliation. And that court recessed after the judge gave his order at 1:09 p.m. today. And exactly 10 minutes later at 1:19 p.m., 10 minutes after that legal humiliation today, this New York Times headline posted, DOGE quietly deletes the 5 biggest spending cuts it celebrated last week. So while we're on the theme of the Trump administration being humiliated, I mean, literally within 10 minutes of a federal judge ordering President Trump and his top campaign donor, Elon Musk, to undo the biggest thing they have yet done to the United States government, their shutdown of all foreign aid. 10 minutes after that court order to fix that by tomorrow or be prepared to be in my courtroom testifying under oath as to why you are breaking this lawful order. 10 minutes of that, within 10 minutes of that, the New York Times posts this story on how the 5 largest other things they claim to have done to the U.S. government aren't real. And so they've had to take them down off their website and stop claiming that they did them. Quote, last week, Elon Musk's government cost slashing initiative, which he calls the Department of Government Efficiency, posted an online, quote, wall of receipts celebrating how much it had saved by canceling federal contracts. Now, the organization has deleted all of the 5 biggest, quote, savings on that original list, after the New York Times and other media outlets pointed out that those lists were riddled with errors. Quote, the last of the original top 5 disappeared from the site in the early hours of Tuesday. The website offered no explanation for why it had removed some items. But these were the original 5 largest savings on its list. First, an $8 billion cut at ICE, at Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The actual contract in question was worth not $8 billion, but $8 million. Next, 3 $655 million cuts at USAID. Quote, this was actually a single cut that was erroneously counted 3 times. In addition to not being $655 million 3 times, it's now only listed once, and instead of being listed at $655 million, it's listed at $18 million. So they were off there by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. But wait, there's one more, a $232 million cut at the Social Security Administration, which appears actually, according to reporting from The Intercept, to be a project that is not worth $232 million. It is worth $560,000. So we're only off by... how big is the window on your calculator? And does it need batteries? So they're not sending their best. I mean, to the extent that we are supposed to think of the authoritarian overthrow of the U.S. system of government as some sort of benevolent mission, because these are math geniuses who are doing it, right? To the extent that that's why we're supposed to like the dismantling of the U.S. government, because they're so good at math, and so therefore this must be good for us. Yeah, it turns out their math doesn't work. And even though they are having to rescind by court order the things they are most proud of doing, the biggest things they're trying to do, or they're having to rescind from their wall of receipts everything they previously said about all their other best and biggest moves, even though all of this stuff is getting wound back. Literally, all of the biggest things they said they have done are now getting undone, or they never happened in the first place. Even still, though, it's not like they're getting better or more humble or more accurate over time. Back to that New York Times article today, quote, some of the new canceled contracts DOGE added to its website this week appear to make some of the same types of errors. The largest savings on the latest version of its list is a $1.9 billion cut at the Treasury Department. But as reported in the Times last week, that contract was actually canceled last fall when Joe Biden was president and when DOGE did not yet exist. So that $1.9 billion isn't anything they did either. Even the stuff they say is their best, their biggest successes, their greatest hits, has all fallen apart under the most cursory scrutiny. And, you know, what have they done? They have fired a lot of people. And then they've had to unfire a lot of them when they realized that they actually had no idea who they were firing. We had the oops firings of workers at the National Nuclear Security Administration. Oops, wrong people to fire. Those had to be rescinded. Oops, had to hire those people back. We had the oops firings, the people who work on bird flu. Oops, wrong people to fire. Those people have to be unfired and brought back. Now, news that they're trying to unfire the people who work in really simple, really easy to replicate low productivity fields like overseeing the safety of the robots that do surgeries on humans. And the people who work on the safety of pacemakers and implanted defibrillators. Yeah, that's a waste of time. That's a waste of money. Who needs those things to be safe? Fire those people. Trying to unfire those people